All right, everybody. Today is June 6th. We started them with a special guest, Brother J.
His card didn't work.
Anybody want water or soda for the back?
What?
No.
Just plenty of juice.
Coffee. Don't be so hard.
So yes, everybody, we live right now.
Oh, you started it already. Bruh.
Yeah, we're here June 6th, D-Day.
Started it. Were you talking about me? You're talking about me.
It's too
You
fast.
started it already.
We have a special guest, everybody, over here, Brother J.
Good morning, everybody.
You don't know, that's my J, that's not her J.
It's the J that he's always talking about.
Yeah, my J,
Oh,
not
quite
her J.
famous.
Not her J.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
famous and you don't even know it.
Yes. Yeah. So yes, Jay is Aiko's ex-husband, and we one big happy family. We work them together for the betterment of the kids and everything, all beautiful.
You want this open
Our
now?
family. Yeah. All right. So what we talking about?
What did you want to talk about? You said how
The
families.
beauty that relationships can be. Yeah. I think that's a really good topic for today. You know,
Okay.
because I come from a dysfunctional past dealing with relationships, and I accept responsibility for my own fucking dysfunctionality in those relationships. So there's no hate to nobody else. It's just a thing. It was a thing. Well, when I got into this relationship, I learned early on the value of having what functional relationships look like. I have examples of what functional relationship look like, and that functional relationship is Aiko and her ex-husband Jay's relationship. They taught me how to be able to participate in a functional relationship. So I'm gonna let Aiko and Jay them talk about why their relationship is a functional one and not a dysfunctional one. There's no
He wants-
swearing, there's no cussing, there's no threats, there's no beatings, there's no none of that drama fucking bullshit. Why is that? That's what I like on. Teach the people out there what we like on. Go ahead.
I think mostly it's just because we have two medically fragile kids, and when we got divorced, our youngest daughter was still under 18, and so you know they could see, I think, that we just weren't happy anymore like we used to or whatever. And so I don't know, he can speak for himself, but I think, you know, I wanted to teach my kids too that it's okay for you to leave a relationship, but it's not okay, for me, it's not okay to use the kids against him or down the kids for something that, you know, it wasn't their fault. You know what I mean?
Right.
What do you mean?
So I like that.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the truck.
Yeah. No, I like that.
He's eating cornbread for breakfast, and I'm eating, I don't know what this is.
Cornbread. You gonna eat your cornbread?
I don't know what this
I'm gonna
is.
come eat your cornbread.
But I think he has the best life now. Cause,
We spoil Jay. Yeah.
because he
Every
makes
chance we
him
get, we try to
coffee
spoil him.
all the time, and he still gets to eat. I think he eats better now than when we were married because we do food service, and he doesn't have to deal with my shit. So is that true?
In some ways,
so there's JJ. He can slide over. He can.
You gotta show your face.
we sleep in different places, but things have still stayed pretty much the same.
See?
And honestly, everybody's family, you have some form of dysfunctioning.
Yeah.
There's varying degrees. And although in my family things look nice and proper, there was a lot of alcoholism involved. But given that being raised traditionally, whether you're Oriental or Polynesian, island lifestyle, you gotta cooperate. And without cooperation, the community not gonna survive. So it's important to have respect for the people you
Boom.
are
Boom. Yeah.
living with. And if you don't have that, you're gonna soon find yourself alone and having a hard time.
And catching hands. Oh.
At the very least, catching hands, right? At the worst, you know, you out of society and you starving.
Wait, you said alcoholism in your family.
Yes.
Who are you talking about?
All the
Your family?
generations all above me,
Oh,
all
really?
functioning alcoholics.
Really?
I watched that growing up.
How did I not know
Yeah.
that?
I watched that growing up, in, especially in a kind of Native Hawaiian families. You know, there's a lot of alcoholism and
Even growing up with your
Abuse.
friends, right?
yeah.
And you said you would just leave.
Mm-hmm. Even when I hang out with the boys, you know, we all go grab a 40 and we'll drink in a park, and then they start talking about they go bash the bottle on somebody's head. Next guy come over the bridge, we go bash his head.
Just
I was
because.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah, just go-
historically speaking, peoples were taken over with alcohol and cigarettes.
Mhm.
Look at the Native Americans
Right.
and how messed up they got from alcoholism, and well, they were smoking since the beginning of time. They had their own tobacco, but alcoholism is ongoing problem.
Okay,
So-
wait. So I'm gonna do like a dating app here.
Yeah. 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 Okay.
Jay is single, guys. Not
Yep.
guys, but
That's my Jay.
Jay,
You're not giving him away to no other
Jay
guy.
is single. He's an Uber nerd. He loves to play Pokemon.
Mhm.
And he enjoys, what do you enjoy? Going to restaurants, I think. What else do you enjoy? This is gonna be your ad, and you're gonna find your new wife here. You're gonna live happily ever after, and then your story is gonna be, how did you guys meet? On my ex-wife's YouTube channel.
Yeah.
That's how it's gonna be.
He's a great guy. For all the women out there wants a really nice guy, you know, who's courteous and respectful. I never heard Jay have one swear word to Aiko. I never
was gonna
heard
say,
Jay.
I swear. Yeah,
I never heard him abuse her, you know, talk crazy, talk sideways to her or whatever. That's just why I have respect.
No, he
I have
just
a
rolls
high
his
level
eyes
of
and walks
respect.
away from me.
Well, I mean, in the scheme of relationships,
Yeah, I see what you mean.
you know, I would rather just, you know, what you said, raise your eyes and walk
Roll
away.
your eyes, roll.
Roll my eyes and walk away. I would rather do that than be violent towards you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To be disrespectful towards you. And I think that's what the strength that Jay has. He has that ability to, you know, however, if he ever got, I don't know, I don't like to speak for you, Jay, but you know what I mean? Like, I don't never see him do that. And the other thing I highly respect of Jay is that, well, he loves his kids and he take care of them wherever he can. And when his son was flying the coop, you know, you could see it had an effect on him. You know what I mean? But he take care of Bebe.
I
Bebe,
think he was really
Bebe
sad.
is spoiled. Bebe get her dad and her stepdad and well, she and her what kind of Thai? Thai is her
Godfather.
godfather. Well, she get spoiled all over the place.
Yeah. And I think you were more sad when Keegan moved on his own. I
Yeah.
think than he was. And he was already what? He's 27 now, so he was
Mhm.
26 when
Yeah.
he moved out. And
Well-
we were kind of teasing Jay because Keegan was like, I think Dad was crying.
Well, he loves his kids. No doubt about it.
I do too, but like, I can help them, I can love them, but you can stay over there. So Caitlin lives in Haleiwa.
That's where we're going right now. We're gonna
Yeah.
pick her up. The brat. She's the brat.
We're going to drop him off so he can go see Caitlin and pick up some clothes. And then we'll go to our client, sign paperwork, and pick up the brat.
And you see how everything works? One big happy family.
Yeah.
So, Jay, how's your adjustment in all of this?
Well, there's not much I can do but help out. Try and ease the pain wherever I'm at. Where if I can put my hands on something and help out and be part of the solution and not be the problem, that's what I'm gonna try and do.
That's right up your alley.
Well, you see that? You see, that's what I'm talking about. See that right there?
Mhm.
Traditionally, Hawaiians, bro, we just fight each other.
Wait, but that's something I think maybe he learned from you, because when I would be like all day where, you know, our kids were pretty messed up. Our kids had a lot of psychological issues because of their stuff, especially Keegan with his surgeries. And I would spend like the whole day, like literally every minute, agitate, because Keegan would have meltdowns with his anxiety and all this for every little thing. And I would work all day to get him calm. And then Jay would come home from work and he'd be like,
Screw all that up.
he would be like, that was not the solution.
He would undo what you did.
Yes, like in like 1 minute,
No,
because
but-
he would come in and
no,
go,
but
how come you didn't pick up your toy?
It goes to his to me, I think, I don't know, I wasn't there. But Jay has a humor, right? He has a humor, and it's his way of just being able to cope with the situation. It's nothing.
It's not humorous.
Huh? Not humorous for you.
No. And then Keegan would like melt down and stuff, and I'm like, boy.
But you
So
gotta
then I
admit,
started texting.
you gotta admit, though, since especially since when Jay's car went go down, but he's been a tremendous help. But that's what I think he's referring to. That's what you're referring to, right, Jay? Like that, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Because a lot of stuff that we do, the thing is, what we're involved with, we do advocacy for Native Hawaiians. And was fucking God, this guy is just street fuck.
There's cars on the road again, guys. Cars on the road. What did I tell you guys? Get off the road when
on,
he's
hold on.
driving. Like,
This guy's
they're
cramping
everywhere.
they're cramping my style.
They're in front of him. They're on the side of him. They're everywhere.
You see that kind of whip I get all the time? I'm just trying to be myself.
Be
He's
himself.
bothering me
the
right now.
only one on the road. Just get off the road.
But I get my J for back me up. Now it's 2 years.
See, no, this is not fair. What? See, look. You see?
Yep, see?
Yesterday, Jay, we were talking about, because he bought me Twix, which is separated already. But we were talking about how you guys fuck with my OCD. So we were talking about how.
I do not mess with her OCD.
Yes, you do.
I do not.
What?
You have no proof.
Okay, what
You
about
have no
the Kit Kat? Explain the Kit Kat story.
I wanted to explore new ways of enjoying time.
See?
I didn't say our divorce.
All
I
this
said
time-
the Kit Kat story.
All this time.
Everybody eats Kit Kat the same way. You
No.
break off one strip and you eat one at a time.
Right,
I've
because
tried to eat it with all the strips connected in
That's
from the
right.
middle, like a sandwich.
That's right. See? Yeah, what he said. Yeah, what he said. Yeah.
ew.
It is not my issue
Uh-huh.
to have to eat it a certain way, nor is it my issue to have my wallet organized
Oh,
in a specific manner.
we didn't talk about that. Okay, guys, I'm sorry. If you have like every dollar denomination in your wallet, okay? In the back, it goes 100, 50, 20, 10, 5s, and 1s, okay? That's how it goes in your wallet. If you do it,
though. He's a
Because-
trailblazer.
Okay, so when you go to the store and they tell you, oh, $17.59, okay?
Right?
If you don't have your money organized, you're like looking all through your money, like, do I have a 10? Do I have a 10?
Like
Oh, here's
Bebe?
a 10. Do I have?
Yes, okay.
She's like even more decisive because I don't think she knows how to count
She doesn't
that.
even have money in her wallet. She has it all other places.
Half the time she don't even have her wallet. You know? But that's the reason why you have to be OCD about it. But him and my son, they know that I have OCD. So they will, and he used to take pictures, okay? The Kit Kats, he used to take pictures of eating a Kit Kat wrong from work and send it to me. That's why that one time I walked to the
That's
store.
what you get for harassing my Jay.
I'm not harassing him.
Yes.
He's harassing me.
No.
I was trying to get Aiko over her issues
That's right.
because she was
That's
so
right.
OCD.
That's right.
It was bothering our relationship.
I
Yeah.
So
wanted
I
my-
had to break the doors down slowly.
Yes.
Break the walls down, I mean.
Yes. There's a whole new world
Okay,
out
wait.
there. He was trying to introduce you to a whole new world
And
a whole new
what
way
she's
of thinking.
talking about now, I don't know what she means because I had my wallet and I was trying to
Trying to what?
entertain, interesting, and innovative storing techniques.
You see that?
We can nerd any.
See?
There's like, you can turn any conversation
Who
into
says
my
you have
ass.
to have the denominations in a row,
That's right.
facing a
Yeah.
certain direction,
Yeah.
or
Power to the people.
I tried rolling my dollar bills into little balls and see if it works in my wallet.
See?
Not right.
Rolling
But
them
it
into
No,
still
balls.
works.
Hey, I can see from a criminal perspective, I can see how that theory works. Because if I'm a criminal and I know already I can just go into somebody's wallet, I'm gonna steal the biggest bill I can find.
Just
But if
disorganized and they'll
See?
never know.
If it's disorganized, how the fuck I'm gonna steal the $100 bill when the thing's all crumpled up and
Okay,
in the
hold
side pocket
Hold
and all
on,
that?
hold on.
The best one is when you take your ID out of the clear ID section, you put it in sideways and backwards. Oh, you should have seen Aiko's face. She ransacked my wallet as soon as I got home because she knew
Yeah.
from 5 o'clock in the morning I had my wallet all messed up.
'Cause
It
you
was
sent
fuck
me a
messed up
picture.
until I got home.
And my skin was crawling, so as soon as he came in, I would shake down. And I rearrange it. And what bugs me is not just rearranging it. He crumples up his money and puts it in the
I tried
wallet.
storing the
But
denominations
wait.
in ball sections. you
Yeah,
know?
but wait
All
though.
sections.
Number one, it's his wallet. If he wants to crumple up
Then he
his
should-
bills and put them
then he
anywhere he
should-
wants.
And now
Share
you
the
understand the oppressiveness of our relationship.
Then he shouldn't share
You bully.
a picture with me.
You
Yeah,
be a
wait.
bully.
I want him to address that, but wait, I thought of something.
Uh-oh.
You said
Uh-oh.
with a criminal mind, you're gonna go in somebody's wallet and steal the biggest bill, right?
But
Okay, hold on.
why would I go with
I would have
Wait.
never taken the biggest bill. I would
Wait.
take multiple smaller bills.
Hold on. And that's okay. That's. You know what I would do if I was a criminal and I was stealing from somebody's wallet? I would take the whole fucking thing. Why would you just take
Yeah,
that's
but-
like robbing a
No,
house
but
and
the
just
way he putting them all over in his wallet and all kind of different ways.
take the whole
You
thing,
gonna
sort it out later.
all day over there trying to steal.
No,
but that
you
person
grab
needs
the
money also.
You grab the whole thing, all the money. You stick it in your whatever thief bag or pocket or whatever you're putting it in. When you go home and you're safe in your hiding spot away from the popos, then you sort it out and uncrinkle your
We don't have
money.
time. We gotta go. Gotta
See?
hit and run.
See, I
Yeah.
would take it all. I mean,
The thing is, his expression of his artistic expression is something that you can learn from
I think
and
it was
appreciate.
revenge.
No,
I
it
think it
wasn't.
was revenge.
No, it wasn't.
Okay, so I want to give you a chance to talk about our relationship in your perspective. Because I'm all good with it. Right? And I'm sure that I wasn't the best wife to you. So, go ahead.
What?
I'm saying, like,
Hey, we're divorced already. We don't need couples therapy. We're done. Why are you asking questions now?
this is so.
You should have asked these questions back then.
I
Oh,
did.
yeah, so now.
I did.
Yeah.
No, but this is a chance for people to see both perspectives, you know? Because I don't want it to sound like one-sided. And just so you know, there's a truth
But
that
it is.
No, it's not. No, well, okay, well, that's your opinion. But I'm just to let you know, I've never like downed you on here. It's, to me, it's just, we just grew apart for whatever reason, and it just was like, I love you. I always love you because you're my baby daddy. But we just,
He my baby daddy too.
you know, you got serious problems. You guys have serious problems. No, but it's not like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like you beat me up. It's not like, you know, you cheated on me, that kind of stuff.
I wasn't there for you emotionally. I didn't support you emotionally when you were having difficulties raising our kids. So I understand that part.
Yeah.
Okay, but not me. Like you.
Yeah.
What did you feel?
It doesn't matter what I feel. I'm the father. I gotta take care of my family.
No, but
Whatever I feel it doesn't matter. What matters is I raise my kids. I do what I need to take.
Take care of your
what I need
family.
to make sure my kids have a roof.
Yeah.
They have food. If I just take a ball of rice for lunch, or I don't eat lunch,
I used to
I
make you
don't
though.
eat meals because my kids need to have food. Because we were having surgery so often that times got hard for us.
Right.
But I used to
And
make you
so,
breakfast and lunch.
Yes.
wait. So
See?
yeah, okay. So so I don't know what it's like to live a life raising children. But my biggest regret is I was never there for my children. Right. That's my biggest regret. I could never. I was selfish. You know, running the street thinking I can do whatever the fuck I like, and nobody can tell me shit. You know, so I don't know what it was like to raise children, but to raise children that have medical issues,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, I cannot even imagine what stress, emotional stuff, or what physical
Emotional damage.
stuff, emotional damage. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I can't even imagine that.
Well, the emotional stress is significant.
So, Jay, how, in your perspective, how was it, you know, being a new father, raising, you know, a son that had, you know, heart
That was
condition?
my first child, so that's all I knew.
That could
Right.
never play football like you and your
Yeah.
brothers.
Yeah. So, how was that for you? How was that for you, raising him and just focusing on him and your
He was
relationship?
my son. That's what I did.
Right. No, I
That's
know
what
that.
we did.
Right.
Life is about compromise.
Okay.
And
See,
I
point
have,
one. Yeah.
I do have some difficulties in some areas where I traditionally think that there are things that you need to learn when you're young,
Right.
and if you do not learn this, you become extremely selfish.
Like me. Yeah. Exactly. Point
And-
two. Yeah.
Emotionally unstable. So I tried to instill these things when my kids were young,
Right.
but I may not have brought it on the correct way
I think it was
because
better
I'm
than
a firm
than-
believer of if you don't respect me, you will fear me.
Mm.
And if the respect is not there,
Point three.
again, I'm not dealing with you. You are out.
Well, that kind of
Well,
points to
That way, that's amazing because I was raised like the opposite of what he was talking about. Well, it was nothing about respect. It was all about fear. I feared my mom. That's the only person in my life I ever feared. And when I left home and I went on my missions, I told myself I would never let anybody do to me what my mom did to me when I was growing up. You know, violence wise. I'm not gonna never let that happen. And look how fucked up I turned out. But look how fucking awesome Keegan is. With all his limitations and whatnot. This freaking kid, he's just amazing. He's a Billy Goat. On all that was fucking amazing.
is it Billy
Well,
Goat?
that's
Yeah.
attributed to Julie because Keegan grew up watching Julie find another way.
My plan B.
Yeah.
There's always find another way. We may not have money, but hey, let's see what we can finagle and get done.
Right.
And
Okay, so focusing on Keegan, right, as an example, you just illustrated how you decided you was going to raise your son in one way that was different from the way my mom raised me. The way you raised your son was the exact opposite from the way my mom raised me. And your son has massive respect for himself, for the people around him, you know what I mean, for everybody else, because he was raised with that mentality that you just shared. It's just raw information you just shared just now, right? Well, that's what I'm talking about. And then you combine what Aiko's contribution is to you guys' relationship. So you can see how both you guys will converge to solve one problem. What is the problem? We have a medically fragile child that needs all the love and support to be able to function as a human being. And you guys brought both of that skill set to the table. But you never have a manual.
oh yeah, it was interesting.
You don't have a parent's manual when you
Oh, look at this.
have a baby. Wow.
Fuck, I like
But
that.
then you definitely don't have one when you have a special needs kid.
Yeah.
But I think like your idea and his idea, overall the bigger picture,
Mhm.
that's a great idea. You know? But it also, that's where we clashed. Because Jay's idea was, I'm going to tell you to pick up your toys, and you're going to respect me as a father, and you're going to do it right now, right? Like
Right.
when I tell you jump, kind of thing.
Right.
But with the special needs issues,
It's called discipline.
right? But
Yeah. Without abuse.
right, and I never abused my child either, but I guess because I dealt with he worked, right, and I was home with the kids,
Mhm.
so that never worked with Keegan, because one of the things that we learned, and we learned it from Keegan, is that every time he goes to surgery, and at one point he was going every 6 months, right? Whether it was an open heart surgery or some kind of medical procedure, that choice was taken away from him. The choice was taken away as soon as he was born. He doesn't get a choice of when he can have his surgeries. If something's wrong with his heart, it has to be done now, right?
Right.
So he had control issues because, and we went to therapy about this, because literally if I told him, if I gave him clothes, okay, come on, this is what you can wear today, let's go, we gotta go. If in his mind it was, don't tell me what to do. You know what I mean? And so to get
That's
him
my
through,
homeboy.
but to get him through these emotional issues so that he could be okay every day, I had to work with him like meticulously. And I wasn't giving him all the choices in the world, but I'd give him 2 sets of clothes. Okay, you can pick from these 2. That way I'm giving him the control to do it,
Yeah.
right? Or like when he would pick up his toys, okay, you're playing with your toys, you got mess all over the living room, and it's 11 o'clock. Okay, so 12 o'clock, I want all this cleaned up. And he said, okay. 11:30, I would give him a reminder, you know, hey, it's half an hour more, you know, don't forget. By 12 o'clock, he would have his toys cleaned up. But in Jay's version, at 11 o'clock, he wants it cleaned up, and so he would say, clean up your toys now. But again, that choice is taken away
Yeah.
from him, right? And
Okay, so then devil's advocate with him.
okay,
So traditionally, in Native Hawaiian communities, when we was raised, that's what we know. What Jay's style is, that's what we know,
yeah, I get that.
right? You do what I tell you when I tell you to do it,
I get
right? And you grew up. Your mom is pure Japanese. Your dad is Polly, and he's in wherever he come from. He's so laid back,
it. No,
right?
he might be now. I grew up the same way. My parents
Yeah.
told me to do something. I had to do it right then and there.
So then what it is, it sounds like you're not that to a different way of
To-
wanting to
yes.
do something. Well, you know, a lot of us grew up like I say I would never want to beat my kids. If I ever get kids, I never like to beat my kids like my mom.
Right.
So what you're talking about is you can adapt a different way of doing from what you used to.
Right.
So
Because I wasn't born with
so
medical.
as you can
well, I
see,
was,
everybody only gonna do what either we programmed to do, right? What we saw working, or we're gonna adapt to something that we see what was working then is not working. Will not work for me now,
but- right.
right? You know what I mean? So no, there's no right or wrong. Yeah, I mean, it's that people deal with things the way they learn them.
Right.
I mean, or adapt. So your thing is you adapt to everything, right?
I
You know
do.
what I mean?
I do because I feel
Right.
like that's the only way to get through life.
But
you know?
but look at the end result though. Both you guys positions in raising your kids got them to be functional human beings today. You know what I mean? They respect people. You know what I mean? They care about people.
That is the
Right.
one thing that I think Jay and I were always in sync with is
Yeah.
when somebody gives you something, you say thank you.
Yeah.
When you have a lot of something, you share.
Yeah.
You know?
The importance of saying hello,
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you,
yeah,
Right.
goodbye, and I'm sorry
yeah.
Yeah.
is incredibly important.
Yeah.
Because if your kids cannot say that,
Mhm.
they don't give a shit about whoever
Wow.
comes to your house or whoever gives you help.
Yeah.
That's a major point right there. You know, when I came out of prison and I watched these kids in the store and whatnot, I think to myself, oh boy, and especially to see the way they talk to their parents.
Yeah,
Bro,
that is different. And I
Like,
always say too, like,
culture
boy,
shock.
if that was my kid. Like the other day, Jay, we went to Sam's Club, and there was a mom at the
Yeah,
counter for
yeah.
the longest time. She was,
Yeah.
I don't know what she was doing, but she had two kids in the cart, you know, in the front part, and then she had two older kids, like outside next to her. Okay, the one of the older ones that was outside was making trouble to the two that was stuck in the cart, right? He was taking the one boy had Crocs on, so he took one Croc off and put it on the little kid's foot. So they both had one Croc each. The older one was crying and I mean like bratty crying. I want it, I want it, I want it. And the other one when he tried to take it off, no, I want it, right? So they were both doing that. While the ones that were out of the cart, one of them was he climbed up the counter and sat on the counter, and then he put his leg up with his dirty shoe, and they were both just
What?
like causing a ruckus. And I looked at D
my
and I
mama
said,
would have whooped my
I
ass.
said, boy,
Get
those-
your
if
black
those
ass
were
off
my
that car."
kids, they would have got so much lickings, right? Like that's the one thing like our kids never did when we would take our kids to a restaurant, like when the surgeon would come down and stuff,
Yeah.
and we would go out to dinner. And you know, a place where they have only glass water
Right.
things and all that. And we would always get comments like, wow, your kids are so well behaved. And there was no
Yeah.
iPad back then. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like iPad's everybody's
Yeah.
babysitter now. But our kids were always like, when I tell them, you know what, sit down, sit nicely. I mean, you can have some places give you the little coloring thing,
Mhm.
but they would never throw the crayons. They would never
Yeah.
rip the paper up. They would never whine, you know, stuff like that. They were always well behaved. So that's one thing
They're not
that
monsters.
cannot know. And boy, both of
Yeah.
us would never put up with that, you know.
You know, when you was talking, that made me think of something. My mom had a lot of sense. When I got out of prison, and my first wife, we didn't go pick up my box that was left for me. It was 5 boxes, but my auntie Helen would take 4 of them for herself, and I was like, "Bro, that was my shit." When I went to her house, I seen them all over the house. I was like, "Bro, that's all my shit right there." So my mom passed while I was inside. But the one thing that was left was photo albums, and my mom had albums of just sayings inside there.
that's kinda
My
cool.
first wife would be like, "Why would somebody leave something like this for somebody?" I said, "Cause it's my
I would
mom
love
talking to
that.
me, cause this is who she
Yeah.
was, right?" And in the sense that it was like all the fuck you kind. You know what I mean? Like Donald Duck with
Like
the
sit on it
sticky-
and rotate.
Yeah, all that. My mom had all those kind of things.
Where is that now?
It was, I don't know.
Is that
it
one
was,
of the things
it
that went
was,
in the river?
no, it was when I went back in, all my shit that my ex-wife's kids just tossed all my shit and all my tools, my what do they call it? Carpenter tools. They
Yeah.
would amp that shit for money, whatever, and toss all my shit. I I have a history of fucking getting all my stuff stolen or thrown away and whatnot. It's fucked up. But anyway, getting back to what I was saying was, one of the things that my mom would always have is tables are made for glasses, not for asses. Yeah. So if you would come to, if you we'd be at the party, and my mom didn't give a shit who it was. You could be like, we had fucking gangsters come to the party, right? And they'd be disrespectful. My mom would tell them about themselves. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like you know, this guy would come over there and he would fuck. You know how guys would like sit on a table,
Mm.
right? Mom would say, "Hey, get your fucking ass off that fucking table." Yeah, my mom would be like that. And they'd be like, "Oh, fucking Geronimo, why you talk to me like that? Don't you know who I am?"
That's a good one
I
though.
don't give a fuck.
Tables, glasses, not
Yeah.
glasses.
So that saying right there was always in my head. Tables are made for glasses, not for asses. So when we saw that kid on that counter,
Oh, yeah.
that's the thought that was running in my head.
Yeah. I'm telling you, the kids would have got dirty lickings. Dirty lickings. I mean, first of all, they would never even like think to do that, you know, because
Right.
they would know, like, and you know what surprised me too is that the mom was like so oblivious to it all.
Yeah.
Like she
Yeah,
wasn't
they're
even like
cognizant
there's
of-
there's
yeah.
and there's
Like it's not even a thing.
yeah, so it must happen all the time and she's
Yeah.
like used to it already or whatever. But there's also the other parents that their kids are so naughty and all you hear the entire time, and it makes me stressed because all you hear is, "Get down, stop doing that, leave your brother
Yeah.
alone, oh my god," you know, the
Yeah.
whole shopping time.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking,
And no
is that how
resolution.
yeah,
No resolution.
it's like, is that how your life is every day? Like,
Well, when Keegan was younger, we used to go out with friends, and
mhm.
one friend
This is
who was a
fucking-
single
this is
mother,
not
her child could not sit in the high seat, the high chair.
that. Yeah.
Her child could not play nicely. Things would be thrown all over the place.
Mhm.
And this mother would basically let it happen.
I know who you're talking about.
Now, we
We're
would
not
hang with
gonna
our
mention
other
names.
friends who are a traditional husband and wife couple.
Mhm.
Their kids did not do that.
Right.
And what it breaks down to is you have a nurturing mother, you have a disciplinary father.
Yeah,
Oh.
And if you
Yeah.
don't have one, the child will be different.
yeah,
So what you guys brought to the table is balance.
yeah.
Think about like
As far
to
as
me,
that
I think
kind of
about
stuff,
like that. There was balance. They could either deal with dad or they could deal with mom. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? If you're gonna decide to not listen to mom, but guess what? You're gonna have to deal with dad.
Yeah.
Right?
That's why a lot of
So it
times you
works.
see kids act up.
So there was balance.
Mom says something, and the kids still act up.
Yeah.
But usually once the dad says, "Hey,"
Yeah.
Then
It stops.
Yeah,
hmm
yeah,
And for me, my mom would always say, "I'm mom and dad to you guys. I'm mommy and daddy."
that's the hard part. It's hard to be
Yeah.
the nurturing one and the disciplinarian.
Yeah.
I think that's easier on women than men
To be
to be
both-
the
both.
disciplinarian and nurturing at the same time. You know what I mean? Because my kids would listen and they would do what in the end result I get the same result as he wanted. It just didn't have to be like right now, but within like a reasonable amount of time. You know what I mean? So they would know too, and both of us too were on the same page as far as like he would say pick up your toys, and if they didn't pick it up, he'd throw it in rubbish. I would tell them the same thing.
I
Pick
would
up
do
your
that.
toys. Pick up your toys.
Okay,
but
no like listen, I show that fuck
Yeah.
away.
And
Yeah,
and
you're gonna
there
find
was
yourself
no,
toilets.
and there was no, yeah, and there was no you know how
Fuck
parents
around.
count?
Huh?
That drives me nuts. Pick up your toys. 1, 2,
And then don't listen.
3.
Yeah,
I said pick up your toys. 1,
yeah.
and I'm like, okay,
You know-
wait,
you
you
know
already
me.
said 3.
Yeah. You know,
So-
you know.
Ours was 2.
One of our friends, they're a couple, and then they watched us count for Keegan. We would count to 5
Not even. We get not even
or
to
3,
2.
but then this friend says, "Bruh, I go 1." And after I watch you
Oh,
guys,
yeah.
I just go 1, and then I destroy whatever they don't put away.
I would tell them,
Yeah, I
you
mean,
know,
to
what,
me-
by the time they got to 2, they were already walking to the, you know.
You know how I run my trip? Yeah, no, yeah. Like, this is me, motherfucker. It's not baseball, motherfucker. I tell you one time, Paul already, but fuck you, cut your line. This is not
Right.
fucking baseball.
And
Yeah,
I also think when infants, you just got a brand new baby, if you don't interact with the child,
Mm.
don't
Oh, yeah.
love the
yeah,
child,
yeah,
give you honeys, give you kisses,
yeah.
but more importantly, read to the child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that is something Julie and I
You
did
develop-
for both our kids. We read to them all the time.
Wow, yeah.
And our kids
Yeah.
seem to have done better when they were
Yeah.
younger.
Yeah.
Whereas these other parents who never read to their kids, and you can tell the ones that you don't read to the kids because
Yeah.
they are out of
Yeah.
hand.
And
They
maybe
don't-
that taught them to sit down.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Focus.
Yeah.
Focus.
Yeah.
Focus.
Sit your ass down and stay in one place for 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe
yeah.
that's what helped it. I didn't
And
think
that's
about
amazing because, like, baby, she get ADHD. Yeah,
that. Both of them do.
yeah they
but,
both get it.
but that was developed after. Like
Right.
he's talking about, you know, infancy to maybe
Yeah.
toddler. So that developed after.
Can you imagine if you guys never do that?
Yeah.
How much worse the ADHD would be?
Well, they would probably be like
Monsters.
duct tape somewhere.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I have nephews and nieces who and you can tell. And they both have traditional husband and wife families.
you see. So it's all about balance, striking a balance. What I see in you guys' story, you guys found a balance, and you know, and the thing is, there's no manual
Yeah.
out there today. On YouTube, you can see all kinds of parenting tip videos and all of that.
Yeah.
But back when we was growing up, there was none like that,
Okay,
and that's
I'm gonna
why
try
I don't
this.
fault my mom.
It's our medicine time. Okay.
That's why I don't fault my mom.
Yeah.
Because my mom never had a manual on how to raise a kid like me,
And she
you know
was
what I
a
mean?
single mom.
and she was a single mom, and my mom's own upbringing is what she brought to the table.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the story about my grandpa knocking out my mom. You know, when my mom was a teenager, thinking that she could stand up to her dad. My mom was the son that my grandpa always wanted. You know what I mean? Like, she could. My grandpa taught her how to fight like a man.
Yeah.
You know, so she licked her brothers and her sisters, and her sisters. You know, so she was the one.
Yeah,
But
Mom,
she
wait till
also
you make the
was.
turn.
Yeah, she was also compassionate and protective of her siblings.
Yeah.
You know, just that she was the authoritarian. You know.
By 7 o'clock and we're over here already.
You see that? Superior driving force. But yeah, hey, so this was a great discussion. It was an opportunity for everybody to get to know the dynamic of family, and also I think what also we see is that, you know, people can learn to work together to solve one problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And relationships don't have to go sour and people get fucking butthurt and cut feelings and all that kind, and be, you know, disrespectful or abusive or mad. You know, we don't have to do that. You don't have to do that,
can
bro.
rise above.
You can rise above and be better people,
Especially when you have children,
right?
you know. And both of our children are adults.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
You know, and exes can work together. Like my friend Billy Oku, him and his he just fell right off.
yeah.
Rookie.
I'm not a rookie. I'm kind
You're
of
a rookie.
scared to like really put it on
Yeah.
tight. Okay.
You know, even him, he's good friends with his ex old lady and
Oh, yeah.
the kids. They're all blended family, so it is possible, people.
And that's like you
If
and
you
your baby
choose to.
mama.
Yeah.
You know, she's cool with me. I think
Yeah.
it's cute. Like she'll text me and say, "Hey, sweetie, are you guys okay?" She'll just check in on us.
Right.
You know,
Right.
and that's really cool.
So
The part that a lot of people don't see is what is the end goal of your separation, right?
mhm.
Oh, he went fool around behind my
Oh,
back.
look at you.
She
Yeah.
went fool around behind my back.
So a lot of people
And
have.
then you get hurt feelings.
Yeah.
But when you have kids, who cares about your hurt feelings?
Fuck your feelings.
Fuck your feelings. We always see that. There's a sticker.
Raising your kids is the most important thing in
Yeah.
family. If you screw that up,
Yeah.
you yourself, there's something wrong with you.
Right.
So
Right.
when you look at all these couples where these other halves are not letting their fathers or mothers visit their
Yeah.
children,
Yeah.
bro, that's all selfishness.
Yeah. It's like, you know, your father is no good. Your
Yeah.
father is a dog. Your father is yeah. But they don't tell about their side.
And when
Their
I
side
left,
was Yeah.
the
Everything's
kids
on the other
stayed
side.
with him because he was renting. He was the one that was paying the rent. You know, I was doing stuff on the side, but I stayed home with the kids.
Mhm.
So they were settled already. They had their own rooms, you know, and stuff like that. So when I left and I moved into the apartment that we live in now, I asked the kids, I said, you know, I'm not taking you away from this because I know that they're comfortable and I
Right.
knew that he would take care of them.
Right.
But we already had agreed,
So
you know,
what-
like, okay, I'm not keeping you from your dad. Your dad's not gonna keep you from me. If you wanna go back and forth every weekend, you can. But I think that's hard on the kids too, you
Right.
know. And so it's not like I abandoned my kids, but
Right.
I left them with their father.
And you give them the choice, yeah.
Hey, and they would,
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
right.
like Caitlin came over and stayed with me, you know, for a little while and stuff. And to me, it's like, okay, you
She
want
wanted to make sure that you were safe
Yeah.
emotionally because he went back in.
Yeah.
Right.
So she really wanted to make sure, because she
The
stayed here
mother
for
was
about
okay.
a month.
Yeah, I
She wanted to
think
make
so.
sure that you were okay.
But it was funny too.
Yeah,
Because,
especially because a lot of people had this perception. You're in Waianae?
yeah.
Oh my God.
They thought I was crazy. You're gonna move to Waianae by yourself? And I'm like, I'm a big girl, you know. And they're like, yeah, and then when I would tell them, sometimes I would like 7 o'clock at night, I would be walking to Tamura's,
Mhm.
Yeah, that's nuts.
and but it's not though. It's
yeah,
not.
you know, I've always had. I always held the website highly suspect because of the stories that you hear.
Right.
But what I didn't understand was I didn't know about the family stories where the families were really close knit and
Yep.
they took care of each other.
Yeah.
It's just that when
You
you're
only hear
out
the
on the
bad
street and
things.
you bump into another banana, right? That's where problems would
Shit
happen.
can peel out.
You always hear. So it's funny though because people are like, you go out in Waianae at night, and I'm like, I'm gonna tell you something. The crazies are worse in the daytime. At night it's quiet. Cause I've gone several times
Yeah,
when we're
yeah.
home, like it's past your curfew, and I'm like, oh shit, I forgot to go get meds, and you need it.
Mhm.
I'll go walk to Long's,
Yeah.
and there's no crazies. I mean, there might be a couple in the
And
parking
you
lot,
should
but
have called me, then I would have gone.
no, like this is even before when you were living in Haleiwa. And it's not a problem for me. You know what I mean? I walk everywhere. So as long as my muscles can handle it. But the crazies are not out extra at night, what people think. They're, in the daytime, we see naked people on the side of the road.
Yeah.
We see people talking to rocks, you know, stuff like that. And And lately, what the guy was throwing rocks at cars,
Yeah.
you know, and stuff. But when I go out at night, there's hardly anybody there.
All right. So we're ending this turn where we're getting ready to go drop Brother Jay off, so he can get baby ready. And we'll come back and pick them
I
up.
get clothes.
Yes. Get clothes. Get a whole dresser full.
You want to put your whole dresser in the back of the truck? You can.
Put them in the truck if you want to do that. You know, we gotta take care of Jay. I tell you, I stress this all the time, bro.
I also leave
Jay
my
is-
dresser home because
Yeah,
it's Caitlin's comfort that I'm coming back.
yeah. But you know, I stress this. I really I appreciate the opportunity to be able to work with Jay to make this thing happen. Work great for everybody. So I always mindful to take care of my Jay. So this is my Jay, not your Jay.
This is why
You didn't
I
want
told
the Jay,
him.
I got him.
This is why I told him before he married me. You need to think hard which one you want to marry because we both come with the same kids. This is why I
Yeah.
said that.
So relationships can work. As you can see,
Yes, they
we got good things going over here because everybody is adults over here, and that's amazing for me because I never was like that.
And especially if the ex-wife feeds the
Yeah.
ex-husband.
All right,
I'd
Jay.
like to say thank you for Dee and Julie having me as a special guest. I'm glad to share my feelings with everybody. So
Amen. Right
thank
on.
you.
Love, peace, and happiness, y'all. We're out of here.
Caitlin's probably not up. I'll call you when